Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Cultural Reset. I have the pleasure of introducing our artist today. Our artist is based out of New York City, a singer songwriter and an MC, a part of the band, or works with the band, you'll have to clarify, with the Black Stars, and just released a song today being February 12th, called Friday. And this was kind of a crazy coincidence. I guess it wasn't planned this way, but 10 years ago, today was when the song Friday came out, which I'm sure most people are familiar with because it's definitely an earworm. Gets stuck in your head. You love it, you hate it, doesn't matter. Gets stuck in your head. But that's crazy with the timing unplanned. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting carried away, but
You're good.
our artist today is Katia, aka Niambi Ra. So welcome, yay!
Hi,
It
I'm
is.
Kazaya Niambi Ra. Nice to meet you. Nice to be here. Thank you. Whew.
Thank you for coming. Niambi,
Absolutely.
what are your pronouns? Just so everybody knows.
She, her.
She, her. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I just want to say too, marvelous introduction, Shay. I'm really grateful, like we were saying before we even hopped on, to have you on here because you have such an interesting sound and you bring such a new sort of vibe to hip hop. So I really want to just hop in and really start asking you questions because I'm really excited about this. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. Yeah.
So my question for you is, how did you get your start in music? Where did Niambi Ra begin?
Niambi Ra began in Washington, D.C. She was about 13 and she began out of a really awesome, cool friendship with a guy who became a lover who is now still a friend. And he introduced me to hip hop. He introduced me to Erykah Badu. He introduced me to Wu-Tang. He introduced me to A Tribe Called Quest, um, amongst many, many others. And we decided we were going to start rapping together. So we the two of us started rapping together. We would spend nights on the phone, like spitting our rhymes in high school to each other, like, look what I wrote, look what I wrote. So that's how it started. And I'm just so grateful for that because I remember that feeling like another beginning of my life in a way when I look back on it, because it was just so important that happened, that relationship and the information about hip hop. I mean, it was just like, yeah. So that's how I started. I went to Duke Ellington School of the Arts. So I was a theater major. My mother's a dancer, and I've been performing my whole life, singing, acting, and dancing. So I was always an artist. I guess I should say that I've always been a performing artist. I've always been a performing artist, period. And I went on to study. I went to a arts high school, and then I studied at NYU for musical theater. I don't want to go too far, but that's the beginning. That's what you asked me, right? Yeah. I think that's the way to sum up the beginning.
That's exactly.
Also, I guess I want to throw in there too. I'm from DC. Like I said, I'm super proud of that. I lived in New York for 10 years. I recently came back here with the pandemic. But I was in New York for 10 years. So I definitely, I have my ideas from New York. But I am from DC. I'm proud of being from DC. I love DC. I'm from DC proper. And we have go-go music, which is so special to us here. I mean, it means so much to us. It's this experience that's like no other. And I think that has a huge influence on my music. It has a huge influence on my need and lust for live music and live instrumentation. And I'm sure that things that I do vocally are reminiscent of go-go singers, because I always used to want to be in a go-go band, but I never was. So yeah, that plays a huge part in my sound and um, yeah, my relationship to percussion and percussion of the voice, like what I do as a rapper, and percussion and production, and of course my band, and it's very important to me. So that is a part of my beginning as well.
That is incredible. That's a heck of a beginning. Like NYU, Duke, like all these incredible, like renowned schools. Like I want to stress to everybody, like these are renowned schools that we're talking about, renowned programs. Like that's dope that you were part of them. And then also I want to say too, like I went to college in DC. So like in the heart of DC, American University.
Okay, yeah,
I got a chance to like kind of experience like what that music scene was like in DC. And I
yeah,
love that you talked about go-go music because like everybody in DC goes on about go-go music. Like
yeah,
I love it. Like it's like their bread and butter because that's where it originated from.
yeah.
So how do you kind of incorporate that really unique styling in your music? I'm curious.
It's probably in ways that like are it's probably definitely subliminal ways and subconscious ways for sure. um so you talked about the Black Stars. The Black Stars is my band. I created the Black Stars when I was in college. um right before I really started my band, I started interning with they don't call themselves a go-go band, but the heart of their music is very locked in to go-go. So I interned with that band for a while. Um, and I wasn't on stage. I was really just understanding how a band works. So in that experience, I took things of, as far as, there are elements to go-go, as far as, like I said, the percussion, and what is necessary, I guess, what is necessary. What's the story that you're trying to speak with your music, and what is necessary to tell that story? How about that? And the drums, as far as in go-go, it's very African. It's very African rooted. So yeah, and hip hop is very African rooted. So I think on a lot of different points in the timeline, I'm getting inspiration from go-go, if that makes sense, in a historical timeline in ways that I'm not realizing, as far as in a August Wilson blood memory way. And yeah, I mean, I don't make go-go music, but I feel like in the way that I speak to my drummer and the relationship that I have with him, it's important for me to have that, like,
Yeah.
that,
Like a
yeah.
dance, right?
Hmm?
Like a dance between.
Yeah, yes. Because the thing about go-go is I don't know how it is for other people experiencing it at all. It's probably like, well, we'll cut the song off. The song's over, But we have these songs it's all live. It's none of it's recorded. It's all live. I mean, it's recorded live, but we have these songs that are like 12 minutes long, and it could be like the same kind of beat, and then but the same beat over, these long, they just go on and go on. But really understanding the groove, and really finding a way to really capture people, so that they just want more and more and more of it. And of course, we've experienced that in a lot of live settings. But it's so special here in DC because we don't have it recorded, we only have that live experience. So it definitely influences how important that is to me, and what I want to do to people, what I want them to experience. So I hope that answered your question.
Oh, good, definitely.
Yeah.
I want to bring up, you were talking about getting in the groove and all of this, like live experience. First of all, I wish I could see you live. Nick and I watched your Tiny Desk episode you did back in 2018,
Uh-huh.
Pre-COVID, and oh my God, you could feel like the ties between the different instruments and the different vocalists. Like y'all were just circling the energy, and it was, I mean, bouncing, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and you could tell that you were enjoying it too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
How was
Yeah.
that experience for you being on Tiny Desk? I've always been
Well,
curious.
I that was my competition. That was just my contest video. I wasn't on Tiny Desk yet. One day I will be, but that was my I've submitted twice. I got a really good response. They ended up putting me like on one of their, they like send out these like newsletters, the NPR Tiny Desk. So I was featured my video, so that was cool. But I mean, making that video was really fun and awesome. And I'm glad that it gave me a chance to make good content for people to see and experience me. And so I'm really happy with how it came out. Because I mean, stuff like that can be tedious for the artist sometimes. It's like you don't see all the background stuff. You don't see the like, fuck, gotta go back. We gotta go. Sorry, guys. I know I said it one more time. Sorry. I know I said it one more time. But and it's like people are relying on it's like I'm the person that decides when people are going home or not. So it's a lot of pressure. But yeah, I will be on Tiny Desk. I mean, I have to be, right?
I was saying this when we were watching it too. You're a star. It
Thank
just
you.
resonates. Like it's
Thank
natural.
you.
Like the way that
I
you
appreciate
felt
that.
the music was it was completely natural. And like I just I it's clear to me that you have a really deep passion for what you do. It's not just kind of this topical passion. It's not about the fame. It's not about, working to get the most likes or followers on social media. It's clear that you have a passion for this.
Mm-hmm.
And before you were talking about, like about your mission. And I wanted to kind of ask, like, what is your mission with your art? How would you describe it?
I'm going to start by saying I practice Buddhism. I've been practicing Buddhism for about 12 years now. I practice Nichiren Buddhism. And we talk about our mission for Kosen Rufu. That's the name for it. Kosen Rufu. But Kosen Rufu means world peace through individual human revolution. So my mission, period. I mean, big mission is world peace in one way or another. But it's, when you say mission, you're talking about like this type of mission, right? You don't necessarily, or do you mean like, where am I trying to go with my music?
I mean, like, what kind of drives you? Like, what drives you to wake up?
Right.
And
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's important for me, through obstacles and overcoming, learning how to really be a creator of my reality and start with myself and be with myself. And therefore I can be better for the world. I want to inspire other people to do that. I mean, the second part will naturally happen, but I want people to, I believe in the individual, and I believe that that's important. When in my music, I really want to touch people's hearts and souls, and when people say, like, as far as being an artist, sometimes like, as long as I touched one person in the audience, it's like, it's kind of a cliche thing to say, but I really take time with my lyrics. I really sit down and receive the information from source when I'm writing, so that I can be a vessel. It's really an experience of relaying information from the stars and from the highest power. And I just stick to that, because there's been times where I'm like, well, my music doesn't look like this and I don't sound like this person, so I'm just not going to do it. I can't do it. I can't play this instrument, so I'm just not going to do it. I've tried to like not do it. I've tried to like really be like, well, I just can't, I can't do it. Just tried to spend years of time like that, and it doesn't work, because that didn't work. So that's when it really became like, well, this is not about anybody else. I will share this, but at the end of the day, this is a relationship between me and my non-physical being, my non-physical part of myself. It's and source and spirit. Like, that's really what it is for me. And now I'm just embracing that more and try not to let that other shit come up, because it can, and it has hindered me. Just the doubts, and the more just like I guess earthly or ego matters in one way or another, but I have to just like really force myself to get out of my way, because it's bigger than me, and it's bigger than me. Like, I listen to my music myself and I'm like, well, yeah, that's helpful information. Like, okay, yeah, that makes me feel better. Or like, wow, there's really something here. And sometimes I don't even know. Sometimes it just comes out and then it's like, oh, who wrote, okay, well, this is good this is good information. Like, this is good stuff. This is good. Yeah, that relates to that. It's like, so yeah, that answers your question. It's very connected to a higher source, and always going to be that way for me, because I don't know if the other way works. I don't know if I'm going to make what needs to be said the other way. For me.
Yeah, I think that listening to you kind of go through where you find your deep rooted inspirations and in your inner mission and how it translates into your music, your and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like your creative energy is almost fueled through this sense of a natural spiritual energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah. Sorry, I
And
don't want to cut
I
you off.
understand that. And I also understand when things start to line up and you're like writing a song. I don't write songs,
Yeah.
I do paintings and I compare it to it a lot. But when you're writing a song, you're like, this part actually goes with that part, and that sounds really good. And this makes your brain feel great. And like
Yeah.
pieces start to come together, and you're like, oh my
Hmm.
God, maybe I am good at this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the
Yeah.
moments that you really have to let yourself be happy with yourself and confident in yourself, because you can be your own greatest hurdle to overcome.
Yeah.
Your lack
Yeah.
of confidence in yourself and beating down yourself and telling
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
who do you think you are doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I yeah, I really want to inspire people to, see what it's like to be their highest self. And I don't mean that in the like easy sense. That's not necessarily like, it's not just like, yeah, I'm my highest self. You got to deal with the other stuff too. And yeah, I want to give people courage and faith, and I want people to not feel alone. I want people to hear my music and say like, I was going through something like that, or or, and and I see how I can overcome, or I see the light. I want to really touch people.
Music's the way
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
Music in general, and like I also want to touch too before we move on. Like I want to talk about how common these feelings are. You know what I mean? Because like Shay, like you and I have interviewed a whole bunch of artists that have had that same sort of like roadblock that they've established for themselves, where it's just like, you know, I, this is what's selling. This is what's this is what people are saying is popular. This is what people are saying is good. But it's like that's not me.
You know what
That's
I will
not who I.
say?
Mhm.
That's the case with the artists who are mostly, and I tell me if I'm wrong again, but are from America, because we've had a few international artists that we talk to, and it seems like they aren't, maybe their culture like sees music and as a career, like as something that is honorable to pursue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to say that all all people who become musicians are told that it's not a career in the United States, but there definitely seems to be uh, the notion that, if you're young, if you're like, oh, I don't want to go to college, I want to like pursue my music career, or I do want to go to college, but I still want to pursue my music career. Like that's still like an honorable career.
Hmm.
It's still, it's
Yeah.
hard work, it's passion, it's knowledge, it's skill, it's
Right.
technical. I mean, it's
Yeah.
complex.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I really, since we're talking about, spirituality and we're talking about like some of the things that kind of influence art in terms of like, the, I guess, not just spiritual, but like the I like what you said, higher power.
Mhm.
I want to talk about your song Flowers. I know that that came out in 2020. Uh,
Mhm.
I listened to that and I noticed that a lot of the lyrics focus a lot on manifestation. They focus a lot on using your thoughts to craft your reality.
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really powerful message. And I think it ties into what we're talking about. So, what was your inspiration behind this song?
Flowers. I wrote that song. I worked on Broadway. I was in the Book of Mormon for 6 years as a swing and an understudy. Uh, and
What? That's
yeah,
incredible.
I know. So
Fabulous.
so I say that because I remember when I was writing that song, I wrote that song in the theater one day when I as a swing, sometimes I'm not on, a lot of times I am, but there's sometimes I'm not. So I remember sitting in the theater in a room writing that song. And I was going through like a, I don't even know if breakup's the right word because we weren't necessarily together, but I was going through some type of heartache, put it like that. And yeah, I just remember going through a heartache and I wrote that song, which is not always the case. Sometimes it's hard to get a song out of heartache sometimes, and sometimes it's hard to get like I guess a more inspirational song. But maybe I was just talking to myself. Maybe it was a message that I needed for myself at that time when I wrote that song. Because as far as the topics and stuff, like that's stuff I'm constantly talking about, just in my daily life. So they're not far away from me. And a lot of my music talks about stuff like that. But I think that particular song, I think it was something I probably ended up writing for myself and didn't realize it because I don't know how I made something so like really peaceful and calming. I listened to that song and I'm like, this is very, very calming. Um, when I was like a bit sad and trying to like figure out how to move forward. But that if you wanna know why, that came out of sadness. That won't you look to the sky? I think that was like all I could do. You just got to change your mind. I mean, what else can you do?
No, I mean I think that's just really organic, honestly.
I think that's
You had visuals for that song too, right?
I did, yeah. And when I wrote that song, so that song also during that time I was like I've always been super into Jay Dilla. So
Hmm.
that probably is also an influence on that song, because I'm super into Jay Dilla, and also when I was going through this stuff, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna try to write. So I was looking for beats, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to do a project with like I didn't know how many songs I wanted to be, but I was like, I'm just gonna write to a whole bunch of Dilla beats. Like I was like gonna do that. That was kind of like where I was trying to focus my energy, and instead of on the other shit. And I found that was one of the so there's a couple songs I wrote, but that was one of the songs that came out of that. That beat was originally a Jay Dilla beat, and then a homie of mine, J3PO, out in LA, he remade that beat. So Dilla had an influence on that, and even the name of the song was the name of the beat. The beat was called Flowers. So it probably because it ended up kind of being a flower. The song it definitely had a blooming effect in the musicality of it. So that influenced it too for sure because I didn't come up with flower. I mean, I could have changed the name, but I was just like, for some reason flowers sticks, even though I never say anything about flowers in the song. I love making song titles, by the way. Like I feel like really confident in making song titles.
I feel like you chose it, even if you didn't
Yeah.
write it, you chose it,
Oh
and
yeah, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, for sure. If it didn't align, it wouldn't have been that. But I try to, yeah. I like making song titles.
I like that you like it.
Or choosing, right? Just like that. They're like choosing, choosing. It's fun. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And sometimes it's like, they'll get it. And if they don't, they should just listen again.
Fine. Yeah.
They'll just listen until they get it. They'll get it eventually though. Because there's a reason why it's called that. But yeah.
Right, definitely.
So
And
that's the so oh sorry, I was also gonna say what I was saying was when I I heard the beat, I wrote the song, and then I wrote like a verse on it. And then I just automatically heard my homegirl Leah. It wasn't like, I'm gonna get somebody to feature this song or anything like that. I was just like, oh yeah, Leah needs to be on that right there. And that we never even done a song together. Leah is another really dope artist. She just came out with a project this week called the Universe Project. We're both from DC, and she went to Purchase, SUNY Purchase. But yeah, I heard her voice on it, and I reached out and was like, yo. And we made that song a couple years ago. Didn't really know how it was going to fall into anything, and kind of threw that song out there last year because we were like, well, I have an album that's ready, but we're just trying to throw things out. And I started working with new management folks. So we just kind of, throwing things on the wall, see what sticks before I really put out this big thing that I worked on. So it was kind of just to test out the response to and see where it was going to land. And yeah, and even the visual, like that visual is like down the street from my house at Rock Creek Park. It looks like somewhere else, but it's just like down the street.
Park?
Yeah, it's Rock Creek Park.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it looks like, I don't know, it looks like really cool. It just turned out really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was going to turn out so, and people really like the song, and it speaks to people, and it speaks to me in ways that I didn't really know that was going to happen. So
For me, like I thought, when I was watching the video for it, like it really kind of resonated with me, like as just a Black person, living in America. For me, like I saw
right
like your influence with the wicker chair, like the Huey Newton wicker chair. Like I could tell that I could tell like with your nails, like creative design there with Black Lives Matter. Like it felt like, and then it was released in 2020, which I don't know what happened in 2020.
Yeah.
So that for me, when I listened to that, like that really kind of helped me work through some of that, I guess, lingering trauma from 2020.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So that's what I kind of took from it.
That's awesome. That was also by alignment. That video was supposed to be like, I just want to make a visual. I just need to throw a song. I need to put a song out. So let's just make a visual. Like it was just supposed to be a visual. And it turned into my ex-girlfriend. Like, you should put this chair. I have this chair here, take this. And then we were like, well, maybe we should put plants next to the chair. It wasn't like this is what this is going to look like. It was just like, okay, let's put plants next to the chair. So we just went to Home Depot, tried to get these plants, and then I don't know, even the pieces of my costume, it was like the stylist put me in one thing, and then my mom's best friend was on set, and she had this, it's called a raffia skirt. That skirt that I have on, she had it in her car. She was just like, well, throw that on. And it's a very staple African, piece. She was like, throw that on. Yeah, we were like, okay, that works. I'm like, then I had this leather Black thing, and I'm like, I guess we in Wakanda. And also though, it's like it's by accident, but nothing that I do is by accident. I didn't bring this up because we haven't really, I guess, gotten there yet. But I was raised very Pan-African. I was raised Marcus Garvey. I celebrated Kwanzaa my whole life. That's how I was raised. It's just who I am. I've been woke, and there's still more waking up to do, but I truly mean that. And because it's been it's a lot. It's a lot, and I've had a lot of phases of being a lot, and it doesn't necessarily, it's not like I'm oblivious or anything like that, but I know what that anger feels like. I think the most I felt that was when I was at NYU. It was just like, yeah, where it brings you to tears. It's not something necessarily happening to you, but it's like, this is, so angry, angry. I was so angry in college, and it was a good angry though, because we fought the fucking power. I went to NYU, and we were 3%, but we held it down. I was in BSQ, me and my homies, like we kept trying to we made the art, that needed to be made, that we said what we needed to say. So that's always been who I am. I just want to say that, if it, just in case it's like I don't make this point of like Black Lives Matter, is that it's not even a statement to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything that I do, you're gonna see it. because it's inside of, it's not something I have to put on or show or think about at all. It's just in me. Yeah, in me for sure.
And like what you're saying about like the way that you brought that music video to life too, like a lot of young creatives listen to our podcast, and I want to like emphasize on the fact that, you didn't, plan on having all those materials. You had the vision,
Yeah.
and you just
Yes.
used what was around you. You were
Yeah.
resourceful in that regard, and you brought together all of these pieces, and you created this video that was this impactful.
Yeah.
So I just
You're right. Yeah. Because with that video, we really were trying to just like, we were trying to make that just like, okay, we'll just try to make this a low cost. We'll just try to make this as low cost as possible, because videos take a lot of money. Yes. Videos, I mean, a simple video is easily $5,000. That's easily, you need $5,000 to make a video. So with this one, we're trying to, no. So we did it outside. It was like, okay, no location, we're trying to keep it. That was a part of making that too, but it really did turn into something really awesome. So yes, as far as speaking, yes, just you got to use your resources, and magical things can happen. But you connect with the right people too. Have the right people around you. You have to have people. You have to have people that understand what you're doing. You have to have people that understand what you're doing, that are on the same page. That is why if anything that I have done works artistically, for sure, absolutely, because. Like I said, I went to Duke Ellington, and a lot of us, we went to New York. A lot of us ended up in New York because a lot of us are artists. So that's still my community. Those people, they were my community in New York, and they're my community here. So any video I've done, any show that I do, anything like that, they're always there, always there, always there. You'll see the same faces in a lot of my videos, because those are my homies, and they're going to be there. And they make it what it is. But just like how I said, my mom's friend was on set with me, and she had this skirt. It's like that worked because we are on the same page. It's like if somebody wasn't on the same page and they threw something at me, it'd be like, I don't want this. This has nothing to do with what I'm doing. But when you surround yourself with people that are supportive and the right energy, people that want to help you, want to see you shine, you have to protect your energy. You have to protect your stuff. Don't just be having whole bunch of people around it when in these very important, sensitive, creative moments. Once it's done, it's like cool, but it's important to have people that understand the vision, because I mean, they've helped me out so much. Yeah.
Did we talk about that with Lex, Shay? Remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like she was talking a lot about, she had a situation where she was, living with people who treated music more as like a hobby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she had she treated it as her life.
Well, she was just very, very driven too.
Right. And she was passionate about what she did. But, the people that were working with her at that particular time, they weren't really about it. They weren't really about her the way that really she needed them to be. So she, picked up her roots and she moved on.
Yeah.
It's a hard decision, especially when you kind of grow close to people, but that's so important. I'm happy that you touched on it. You have to. It is.
Yeah. I also always I'll also say that I always, the reason I'm hesitating is because I'm like, just watching my thought process around that. But I also always try to hire as many Black people as I can when I'm doing my work. Now, and if they're not Black people or people of color, they just have to know what's going on. They have to know what's going on. But I don't really have a lot of people around me that don't know what's going on. That's not really a thing. I do a lot to protect my energy and feel energy. So, I don't really have a lot of people that don't know what's going on, no matter what color they are.
When the vibe doesn't match, the vibe doesn't match.
Yeah, it's just about, you gotta, because there will come to a point where what we're really going for with all of this is that we're all divine beings, and we're trying to get to a point where we can actually be in this space of really seeing each other. Unfortunately, we have to deal with all this other shit because people don't get it, and people are dying. So yeah, we got to deal with that. So before all lives matter, and while all lives matter, but before, Black lives matter. So we got to deal with that. But when you really want to get into it, if you really want to get into the whole vibration and, thoughts are your reality, if you really want to get into that, vibrationally, we cannot be vibrating on a low frequency. And anger and all of that is a low frequency. And we deserve, I know it seems like it is a noble thing a lot to be a martyr for this. And I represent in everything that I do, but I also would like to stress that we also, as people of color, as Black people, deserve to see what life is about, to experience the magic of life beyond the fact that we have to explain to people our experience as Black people all the time. There's a lot of other shit in life too. There's a lot of magic in life, you know? So I'm constantly trying to tap into that. And yeah, and just I'm just trying to have the light burst, because I pray we can get there, but that is really you know, we're really trying to get beyond all this shit, you know?
Yes.
We're trying to
preach. All right.
tap in, to really tap in. And it's unfortunate that we don't get, it's just sad sometimes for me that we don't get that opportunity that much, because we have to fight so much. Yeah. And we don't get to really experience our divinity. It's and our greatness.
Exhausting. And you're right, it does take energy.
Yes.
A lot of energy. And it just so
yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, think for what broke for me when I was at NYU was like, and like I said, I've been hip and I've been in a lot of different environments. My mom's like so awesome. And she just like put me in everything, put me around all different types of people. And so like, you know, I before Gelinas, I went to Georgetown Day School. You know, I went to private school where I called my teachers by their first name. You know, I was playing soccer and etc. I was the one Black girl. I had these experiences, you know, and I also went to a Black dance school. You know, I went to public school, but I went to public school across town. You know, my mom's also a DC school teacher. So I didn't go to the neighborhood school, but I went to, you know, it was still public school, but there was thought, you know, my mom knew where good education was, you know? So I was with a lot of the, you know, military kids and the ambassadors' children and, you know, all of these types of different people. So I've experienced a lot of different people, but just like when I went to, and I also used to go to a summer camp called Interlochen Arts Academy. I just want to throw that out there. It's a really cool place. I went there several years of my life. I loved Interlochen.
It is.
Yes. That's in Michigan?
Whoa. Yes.
Oh my God.
That's my, that was
from Michigan.
You're both from Michigan?
Yep.
I'm so glad I brought it. And somebody kept telling me, like, make sure you, and I don't always say that because, like, it's Interlochen, but I spent several summers at Interlochen and I loved Interlochen. So I was almost about to go there for high school. Like, I was very close to, but I didn't. I went to Duke. So I had that, you know, I had all these quirky, fascinating, magical experiences as a person of color, as an artist of color, as just a spiritual being. I mean, it was awesome. Growing up was awesome. I got all this stuff. And so I say all that to say, but when I got to NYU and I was just I was just like mind fucked for a second. It was just fucking with me. I don't know why it was fucking with me so much, you know. The race bit, you know, it's irkful. It's irking. Especially, you know, when you're in those environments every single day, all, you know,
every waking moment, waking up in a PWI.
Yeah, it's just
not fun.
It can, it's just, you know, just a little intricate, just trying to get through one day, trying to get through discussion-based classes, the shit that is said, you know.
Exactly. It's the little stuff, like the people
oh my God,
don't have these experiences, like they don't have that exposure to the world outside of their pay grade or their parents' pay grade or their you know, bracket. You know, and it can be really hurtful and really emotionally exhausting.
Yes. So
that's dope.
Yes. Yeah. So in that experience was when I decided, though, that, you know, I was like, okay, I'm angry. I mean, there was a point where I remember, like my first year of college, I was like, I'm not talking to any white people.
I understand.
And all the people around me were probably like, Katia doesn't like me. I mean, I didn't say that, but I'm sure people felt like that. Not that it was mean. I just probably just didn't. I was like, It's like, I don't see you. Whatever.
Hard.
I
No,
see you when I'm just mad, right? But then I was like, you know what? All these white people are walking around smiling, living their lives, being happy. It's like, well, hold on. It's like, I gotta figure this out because I deserve to be happy too. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out. And I started to, I got a chance to like release some of that anger, and it felt great, shit's still problematic, but I wasn't in that place anymore, and I was able to just have a lot of compassion for the people around me, everybody. And I could ask the people I go to school with. I never like became somebody else. Everybody knows what I was about. I was always fight the power. Like that's just who I was, But I was able to find more of a way to like, okay, I'm gonna say what I need to say. I'm not gonna sugarcoat things. I'm not going to silence myself. But I want to be. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to, there's just more. And so I want to investigate that and figure out how I can see the Buddha nature in everyone, to see everyone's Buddhahood. So, yes. Yeah. So, I mean, and I have great friends that came out of school and et cetera. So I didn't leave it on the same note at all. But I'm going to tell you this, though. Something else that came to me. I did a semester in Ghana. I studied abroad in Ghana.
Wow. Yep.
And that was awesome. And because my school has a campus there. And during like our first like couple of weeks, we had a lot of like different meetings, just making sure we were all, all right, having conversations, orientation type of stuff that kind of lasted a few weeks because we were, getting acquainted to another country, as Americans and as students. So, just kind of creating those safe spaces to talk about what's happening. And, I remember we had a lot of discussion-based classes, and we would talk about our experiences. And these white girls, they said to us, the facilitator asked, like, is anybody experience like racial tension, out, just being out in Ghana, if that was the start. And then it was like is anybody experiencing racial tension or anything like that within the group, And these white girls told us, there was three of us Black girls, they told us that the way that we spoke in class makes them feel like they're racists. So, and of course the conversation ended in like, I mean, we were in tears as well, but then them in tears, like pretty much kind of coming to terms with the fact that it's like, it's not us, like, because I am expressing myself and it makes you feel uncomfortable as a white person, I'm making you feel like a racist when I didn't say anything racist at all, just because this is the truth of my experience. And we're talking about an academic environment, and I will never forget that experience. It just made a lot of things clear. I think it made things clear for them as well, because it was a conversation, it turned into a conversation, because it was like, let's get to the root of this. And the facilitator was a Black woman. So let's get, let's really dig into this. And she handled it greatly. But yeah, it was like, maybe you should look at yourself, because I have to adjust what I'm doing that much. I can't even tell my story.
Right. Because it makes you uncomfortable. I have to tailor the way I tell my story
right.
to your needs, to fit your
comfort. Right.
No.
Yeah. And now you're in a way attacking me because you feel attacked, even though no one's attacking you. Just my presence, you probably felt like an attack, right? But now you're kind of to say that, to turn this whole, I mean, it's just such a mind fuck to say that the things that someone else is saying are making you feel like you're a racist. Well, are you a racist?
That's the question.
Why is it making you feel like a racist? And
right.
Why did you bring it up now? And
right.
Why would you do it this way? And
right. And called us out. These three people, the way that you all speak in class makes us feel like we're racist. Okay. But anyways, that was one of those deep, really deep, that was a deep ass moment. And it was deep for them too. I had a really beautiful experience because I was in the first year of my program, and all of my a majority of my teachers were Black, which does not happen in arts programs. So a lot of Black artists in these training programs that kind of can have a traumatic experience, because how can someone teach you how to explore or open up yourself or any of those things, and they don't really see you know? It's almost like white critics reviewing Black work in a way. It's like, well, I understand that you can review it in XYZ terms, but I don't know that you can review the story.
They don't have the perspective,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
don't have the right lenses to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can
Yeah.
look at it as an artist, but to understand it, and I'm sure to like provoke that from you as an artist,
Right. Exactly.
it has to be somebody that's just like, I know where you're coming from. I know
Yeah.
your experiences.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how they can, I guess, bring out the artist in you, which is
Yeah.
that's I'm really glad that you had that
Yeah.
experience in your education, because
Yeah.
I'm sure that that's helped you.
And I mean, a good teacher is a good teacher. Of course, I've had a plethora of different kinds of teachers, and my classmates that were white had the same experience that I did, because the teachers were just good, So, I'm not just saying that we only have to have Black training, but whoever it is just needs to have some type of understanding of what's going on. But I do think it is important that at some point artists of color can learn from people of color. That is important, along with everybody else that they can learn from. And that's been very crucial too in my training as a person from DC. Duke Ellington, there's no predominantly Black arts school in America besides Duke Ellington. I mean, maybe BSA, but Duke Ellington's 96% Black. BSA is Baltimore School of the Arts, possibly, but no, it's not the same. So there's that. Even in my dance training as a ballerina, I studied at a Black dance school. Like I said, along with everything else that I got, but it was important because I watched so many of my Black classmates in college who didn't come from where I'm from, didn't get the information that I got, and didn't get to see artists that look like them, even in musical theater, which they don't tell you about us there, really what we were doing and how we made what we were doing, as artists in the musical theater canon. So, and I saw how that affected them. It can make the work hollow and hard to connect to other people. So no matter who you are, I think you have to find some honesty and truth about who you are to be able to affect other people.
And on that end too, I want to talk, last question before we wrap up too, I want to talk about your experience as a really unique Black female artist in hip hop. What has that been like for you? Because hip hop, as we all know, traditionally has not been a very friendly or female friendly genre.
Right.
NWA came out, and did all that stuff, and like that kind of set the bar or set the tone for what hip hop became. So how's it been for you as a female Black artist navigating this industry with a unique sound?
I haven't been necessarily met with too much bullshit, but I think that's partially because maybe not maybe more people need to, I haven't been as exposed, if that makes sense. At the core of it, it's a very special experience for me. And also when it comes to rapping, it's a very interesting relationship because rapping was never somebody had to teach me how to do or made me feel, or something that I felt like doubting myself about, or anybody could tell me anything about. And I'm not saying I'm the best rapper. I absolutely can be better for sure. But I've never, you can't, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. My rhymes are sick. I'm sorry. And I'm just saying it because I care. And it's because I really care about what word comes after what word and why it's there and how this relates to that and what we're doing here. You know, even in my song Friday, right? Song that came out today. So it's just so, the lyrics are so packed. It's like, there's a part in the song where I say, okay, so I'm spitting. Why is it I end up spending all of my dividends? Am I promoting ignorance, or am I really making shit? Am I really slaying it, or simply just parlaying it, playing with it? George always want to have his say in it. That's the Benjamins, right? Yeah. But God will have his way with it. I mean, I know that it's the last day of the week and the vibes are steep. Time to have a good time and give into the beat. Let that back break right before you fall into them sheets. Let your back break again before he put that ass to sleep. Wake up, repeat. I'm wilding. 4 a.m. Now here, this is important part. 4 a.m. we riding. 5 hit the lights then. 6 we still popping. 7 rolling past and token. 8 we get to holding. 9 we have descended. Damn, it's a new day, but you is a constant. Now let me tell you about that part of the song. The reason I brought this verse up was because the part of that song. Like I said, I'm from DC. We have a song called Overnight Scenario. It goes 3 in the morning, the pancake house. 4 in the morning, you'll be rolling to my house. 5 in the morning, the lights go out. 6 in the morning, you can hear her start to shout. 7 in the morning, she'll be calling the cab. 8 in the morning, talking about the fun she had. 9 in the morning, then she just getting home, talking about the overnight scenario. So when I'm, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of information in my rhymes. I'm doing a lot of things on a lot of different levels, and I'm clear. And if you listening and you tapped in, you gonna get it. So that's why I feel the way I feel about my rhymes. Like, it's not a game to me.
Because they're dope. Because they just are. It is what it is.
So, you know,
that's art.
Also, I love Meg Thee Stallion. Just put that out there too. Yeah, I love Nicki Minaj. I think we should come together more. That would be fucking sick. We can't be putting ourselves. That's just dumb. I mean, man, like that track I did with Leasha. That's why I love that track so much, man. Two female MCs just holding their own, doing something different, but holding their own, you know, giving their own. It's beautiful. We have so much as women to offer, you know, and then to have the word and the rhyme and the beat to do it, to get all together with some chord and then throw some chords in there.
Oh my God.
Fire always.
Unstoppable.
Niambi, this conversation has just been honestly the highlight of my entire week, because it's just, you really are just this ray of light, like this ray of just positive, genuine energy. And I mean, it's flowing through the camera, it's flowing through the Zoom. Like, I can feel that. And also, it's a plus that we got a whole live performance low key. That was dope. I understood everything that you said, and I really hope that everybody who's listening understands and hears everything that you're saying, because like your experience as a Black woman navigating the music industry and just navigating America as a Black woman, like that's key, and that's something that everybody really needs to understand. And I hope that, you know, just in general, while we're continuing the cultural reset, like we can talk to more voices like this and get more stories from perspectives like yours.
Yes.
And like, I'm really
again in the future.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just in response to everything that you said, because I appreciate it so much. And in wrapping it too, just bringing it even back to flowers and what you're talking about with what I was talking about in that song. You got to do the work, you know. It's, you know, like I've been going through a lot of things, so I've just been constantly recommitting myself to myself and my highest self, and figuring out how I can continue to do that more and more. And so I appreciate all the things that you're saying about my energy and everything. And I want you to know you're talking to someone that, you know, for the past couple of days, I've been sitting for 3 hours in front of at my altar chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that to say, it doesn't just happen, you know, and it's not just like, I'm just this person, you know. It's like, it's a choice. It's a choice. And you have to choose it every day. You have to continue to choose it. You have to choose it. And you it's not funny stuff. Well, you know, as far as your thoughts and your vibrations, it's like this stuff gets thrown around a lot. And I think people like it. And I think people do feel it. But then I think too that it can almost feel like cliche stuff because you're like, but how? You know, like, but how? But the how you find out how is by like really putting it to the test. I'm talking about when negative thoughts come up, okay, that's not a good vibe. How is this thought making me feel? I don't like that one because I have a very big mission. So I can't let that stuff, because it still comes up, but I have something greater. And I like speaking to you all. This is a part of my mission. This is something that I have to do, but I have to be prepared to do that. You know, it doesn't just come, and it's really validating to hear you. It's validating to hear you all say that, because, you know, I feel like no one else can do it for you. No one else can be responsible for your happiness or your energy or how you feel or anything like that. For real.
It's all up to you. It's all
and that's a real thing. And I don't know if people are ready to really deal with it. People can hear it. And I think, you know, it's nice to play around with that. But then what happens when you get upset or somebody makes you mad? You know what I mean? Or not makes you mad, but you get mad. You know what I'm saying? Then what about that? So, and I'm not saying it's easy, I figured it all out, but I just want to say, because this is also what I want to say in my music, we have so much as beings. We have so much available to us. So much available to us. And we, the magic that we could create by really, you know, giving ourselves a chance to see our greatness and not give up on ourselves, not give up on the fact that we really are creators.
All of us.
In every moment of our life, we're creators. And so trying to find a way to not live by default, but with intention.
Thank you again for coming on here and sharing everything, and really inspiring not only Nick and I, but I'm sure everybody that listens to this. I mean, if not one thing, another. And definitely, I feel pulled forward by your energy today. Like, it is like you can feel that it is within you and expelling from you because you work hard to maintain your own self energy, creative energy, mental health, you know, whatever it may be. But
and I want you to feel good. I want the people, and I want everyone around me to feel good, you know, and interacting.
I'm great. I'm great. I'm gonna leave this interview feeling great. So thank you. Yeah.
So I'm honored. Thank you so much. Truly.
Well, thank you
so
everybody
much.
who has been viewing and watching, listening. It's been a pleasure. I hope it's been a pleasure for you guys as well. And we will see you next week on another artist interview entry in the Cultural Resets Artist Interview Series.
Yay. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Yeah, and please stay in touch. Please stay in touch.